Welcome, I'm Cassandra. This is your general forecast for September 2018. This is for Gemini, Sun, Moon, and Rising signs. So I'd like to go ahead and take a moment to apologize to those who watch my readings every month. I was unable to post last month because I got sick at the end of July, and I did not start feeling better until like around August 12th. And by that time I figured, it's just a little too late to start posting. So I just figured I'd take the rest of the month to find my balance again, let my energy levels go up. And we're here. So enough about me. This is about you. Okay. So for our first card, this is Gemini Sun, Gemini Moon, Gemini Risings. So we have the Four of Swords. So this is a card of retreat. So sometimes this can be a card of actually like going on a retreat. For some, this could be about going on vacation, just maybe pulling back, having some time to yourself to gather your thoughts. Now, this card can also be indicating an actual retreat from, say, like a verbal conflict. This is the Four of Swords. The Swords is ruled by the air element, and Gemini is an air sign. So we see a lot of mental activity taking place with everything around her head here. These are like mental thoughts. She's got her eyes shut. She's like sitting in this bathtub. She's like, Calgon, just please take me away. Let me take a break. So, this can sometimes indicate that, there could be a white flag, so to speak, kind of like a truce, especially if you have experienced a verbal conflict with someone in your life. So it's kind of like, a temporary timeout, like, okay, we're not solving anything by arguing, so you go over here, I'm going to go over here, and, let's retreat, and we'll talk about this later after we have some time to gather our thoughts and find our balance. So that will resonate with some of you. Now, this could also indicate that perhaps maybe you guys might be trying to get a break from all of the mental thoughts, and activity. It's like, Geminis, you guys are constantly thinking. How many of y'all have problems sleeping? Overactive mind? Don't worry. Your Virgo counterpart shares that. But for some of you, this could be indicating that you might be dealing with some anxiety and you just need to pull back and take a break. For some of you, maybe you might have been a little depressed. Either way, it's like we're pulling back so that we can take that personal time to find our balance, to, center ourselves again. And, sometimes it requires us to have a little bit of, alone time. That's okay. Okay, so it's clarified by the Eight of Swords. So maybe, just maybe, these mental thoughts could be a lot of fears. Maybe you've been struggling to make a decision, and maybe fear has just gotten a hold of you and you're having a hard time, so it's like a really hard indecision. Or maybe you have struggled with this fear and now you've come out of this whole fear bubble, so to speak, And now you're ready to sit in a bubble bath, like, let me take a mental break, because going through all that fear and restrictive feelings and not being able to make a decision has just been stressful. Let me take a break. So, Eight of Swords, this is when we can create a mental prison, and literally the bars of the prison doors are literally our fears. Fear wants to paralyze us. And when we're paralyzed, we're not moving forward. We're just sitting still. And that's what we don't want, and then we can feel completely restricted, like we cannot make a decision because we feel like no matter what decision we make, we're going to be wrong. So it's like a lot of, thoughts taking place, and these thoughts aren't necessarily the best kind because, they're fear-based. And you need to retreat. You need to take that break. Get rid of that fear. Don't allow that fear to control you or your thoughts or especially your decisions and your choices, because that could turn out bad. And that doesn't work for us at all. So, not an option. You start feeling that fear, you tell it to get out. Or, just do not allow yourself to feed the fear. Now, I know that's easier said than done, but do your best. You don't want to allow the fear to get a hold of you, because then you can't really move forward the right way, and you don't want to make a decision based out of fear. And typically we tend to experience fear, especially when we have new situations that come up, or if we feel like we're in uncharted territory, so to speak. It's natural to have a little bit of fear, but we don't want the fear to get the better of us. But I feel with some of you that you guys have been feeling really anxious, like a lot of anxiety, and the mental thoughts, and the fear probably trying to get in. Some of you might have been dealing with a bit of insomnia, and now it's time to, have that retreat. It's time to give yourself that mental break that you definitely need to find your balance and center yourself. Okay, so for your circumstances, we have the Hermit card. So the Hermit card is about receiving wise advice, good advice. Now, this advice could be from your own higher mind, that inner voice. It's like every question that we have can truly be answered if we just quiet our mind and just wait for the answer. It's always there. But we have to, be quiet. We have to be willing to be introspective. Meditation greatly helps. Now, for those of you, sometimes it can be hard to make a decision. Maybe some of you might be reaching out for advice to someone that you trust, or maybe someone has recently given you advice. With the Hermit here, this would definitely indicate that it is good advice. It is advice that you should definitely listen to. Or again, this could be advice coming from your own higher mind. It's definitely advice that you should really consider taking. I wouldn't disregard it personally, but to each his own. Okay, so this would be the focus position. So we have the Temperance card. So This is our card of we must be patient. It's like we really may feel at times like our patience and our tolerance level is being tested by certain people. But this is also a card where, we're going to have to work with other people. We're going to have other people around us. And, like I said, sometimes this can feel like our patience and our tolerance levels are being tested. And you know what? They really are. So you want to ace this test, so to speak. Because you're probably going to have to deal with other people. Now, one part of this card is you know what you can bring to any situation, to any table, whatever it may be. You know what you bring. You know what your skills are. You know what your set of abilities are. But you also need to be open-minded and be prepared to hear other people out as they can, as they have their own skills and their own abilities, and they can bring something to the table or the situation too. So we just need to be open-minded. This is a card where, with it being in the upright position, this is good. This shows that our emotions and our intellect are in balance, so this is a good thing. But most of all, this is the card where we have to be patient, we have to be tolerant. And the more that we are, then we are going to eventually be successful, because that's where this is going to lead us. We just have to pass that test. We have to be able to work well with others. We have to be patient, and patience can be hard for some of us. So that's what we need to make things work and to be able to persevere and achieve whatever you may be going after, whatever your focus is right now. The element here is we must be patient, and we must be tolerant, and we must hear other people out and be willing to work with other people. Okay, so for clarification, I did get two different cards. So the first one is the Six of Wands. So this is a wonderful card. I love, love, love this card. So this is a card of achieving victory. We set out to achieve something. We worked hard for it, and we achieve it. And with achieving that comes recognition. Look at him. He is like, yeah, I did it. What you don't see is probably hundreds of people that are below him on the ground looking up. He emerged victorious. That's what this card is victory. So, sounds beautiful. Okay, so now this card's not going to resonate with everyone, but it's going to resonate with some of you. So if it doesn't resonate, then it's not for you. For those of you that it does resonate with, then yes, this will be for you. So we have the Five of Cups in reverse. So this is a loss and disappointment in regards to something or someone that you loved. Now, this could be an actual romantic relationship that could have came to an end, and now you're healing from it. Or this could have been, maybe you had what you thought was a great friendship, and then things fell out, and it left you feeling disappointed and just upset. You're now healing. You're now getting over it. You're finding you found your balance again. Your passion is returning. You're ready to. Your confidence is returned. You're just ready to go out and have a good time. You're ready to enjoy life. Passion is back. And a lot of times with this card, we can end up meeting some new people. So new friends could come up. Sometimes a new love interest could pop up. But, not every single Gemini, Sun, Moon, and Rising is interested in that. So, it could simply be a friendship. But no matter what, it's like something happened that was very disappointing with someone that we loved or we cared about a lot. And they disappointed us. Maybe they left. Maybe things came to an end. Maybe there was a falling out. Things didn't work out. And now you've healed from it. You found your balance. But hey, let's stay in balance. Let's hear people out. Be patient. Be tolerant. Be ready to persevere. And we will emerge victorious. So, that all looks good. Okay, so this would be your recent past. So we have the Ace of Coins in reverse. So anytime I see an ace in the reverse position, I automatically look at it like, okay, there's a blockage of some sort. Now, most likely what I'm feeling for most of you is sometimes this can indicate that we have overextended ourselves financially. So, yeah, live and learn. As long as we learn and remember, that's the important part. Sometimes this can be about, something that we started that was new. Maybe some of you started a new job. Maybe some of you started to, think about investing in something. Maybe some of you might have started some sort of new business or an additional type of service within an existing business or whatever it may be. In regards to our money, maybe we might have overextended ourselves. Maybe we didn't take into consideration unexpected expenses that could have popped up. Sometimes it's like we start out with great energy and then suddenly we take a wrong turn, and yeah, and that's when the card reverses like so. So it's like we started out great and then boom, it's like we went off track. But, everything happens for a reason. So maybe whatever this was, it just wasn't meant for right then and there. Unless you're out here spending and blowing all your money, then, that's something you gotta work on. That can play out many different ways for all of us, So if you're the type of person that, you're out, you're out living your wallet, your means, then you definitely want to be careful. Try to create a budget for yourself, and that way we don't have to continue to repeat the same type of experiences and lessons. Just a little advice. Okay, for the present, the here and the now energy, we have the Chariot. So I always refer to this card as victory through adversity. So it's like we are going after this goal and we are determined and we are going to achieve it. And, if there are any type of adversaries, enemies, don't worry about them. Don't worry about them. You got nothing to worry about. All you need to do is just continue focusing on your goal and keep going after it. This can also indicate, especially if you might have had some issues with with your health, this would indicate that your health is improving. So this is very positive. And no matter what, don't give up. Just keep moving forward. Keep that goal right there and just know, I'm going to achieve this. I've got this. And you will achieve it. You will accomplish it. It is within reach. You're almost there. Just keep going and you got this. Okay, so for the near future, we have the Ten of Wands in reverse. So this is a card where we had been carrying a whole lot of burdens and responsibilities, and these are, you know, very, very oppressive. So it's like, if we try to carry that load for too long, it's, you know, we can make ourselves sick, literally. No one can carry that amount for very long, you know. So with it being in the reverse, it looks like you guys have been like, you know what, I'm throwing them down because I'm tired of it. I can't carry this load no more. Too many responsibilities. A lot of times this is where, you know, other people, like family members, friends, they might want you to help them. Maybe you took on some of, you know, their burdens and tried to help. Maybe it didn't work out. But no matter what, you're just like, hey, I got to throw some of these wands down because I've overextended myself. I've spread myself too thin. I had too many irons in the fire, and I just can't do that anymore. So now, do be careful that when you throw these wands down, you know, if any of them are like some unresolved things that, you know, are actually your responsibility, you need to make sure to get closure on that, because you don't want to try to throw your own responsibilities onto someone else, okay? Because that's where we can get in some muddy waters, okay? So do be careful of that. Now, for some of you, you know, if you've been taking on someone else's burdens while trying to already deal with your own responsibilities and then trying to help somebody else out, don't be afraid to just be like, hey, I can't take care of these responsibilities, or for this and this and this for you, because I have enough on my own plate. I can't do it no more. So don't be afraid to shut somebody down, especially if it's going to cost you, you know. You've got to prioritize, and, you know, the things that are your responsibilities and that are important to you, those are the ones you got to maintain. But the ones that belong to other people, especially if you were just trying to help somebody out, oh, don't be afraid. You got to put those responsibilities back on them. And I know some of you may not want to do that. Some of you are probably coming from a very good place of your heart, wanting to help, but it is just too much. You already have enough on your plate, so just realize that, you know, it's too much to bear, and you shouldn't have to do it. Okay, so it is clarified by the star in the reverse position. So when the star is in the reverse position, this is where one might be feeling hopeless. One might be feeling like it's never going to happen. Sometimes we can actually see issues with depression and anxiety that come up in a big way, especially in regards to something that we want to achieve, something that we want to wish for, you know, something that we wanted and it just doesn't seem to be working out. Don't stress yourself about it. You know, a lot of times this card is about inspiration. This is a card that is very much about faith. Whether it's faith in yourself, faith in the universe, faith in God, you know, however you want to look at it, whatever works for you. But most of all, you need to have faith and belief in yourself. And sometimes we can slip into a little bit of a depression here, and I don't want that to happen to you guys. That because I can already feel that some of you have been experiencing that. But look, you need to have unshakable faith right now, okay? When I see the star, then I know that there is some creative gift, there is some creative skill that you have, whether you've known about it and just didn't do anything with it. Maybe you threw it to the side like, nobody will accept me if I do this. You know, maybe some of you don't realize that you have some hidden skills and abilities within you, but I do. And I don't want you guys feeling hopeless. I want you guys to maintain having faith, okay? No matter what that means for you, have faith. Because ultimately, when I see the star in reverse, this is the test. It is a test of your faith. Just because something doesn't happen immediately and we experience a delay, that doesn't mean become hopeless and, you know, fall into that pit of despair. Realize it's a delay. But I want you to have unshakable faith. I want you to not only feel, I want you to know that everything will work out, okay? It's going to get better. You will have reason to hope. This is a test of faith. You need to pass it, guys. You need to pass it. And trust me, there are some negative energies out here, and they are just trying to get up in everybody's mind. And when I say everybody, I mean every single zodiac, okay? This negative energy is trying to get at people. Don't let it get you. Don't let it win. Do not lose your hope. A setback is just that. It is a setback. It is a temporary delay. And trust me, delays happen for a reason. Sometimes if we're told, you know, no, or we get shut down, maybe we might feel rejected. But you know what? We're actually being protected. It may not feel like it, but we are, okay? Just like when a delay happens, you may think that, you know, the universe is torturing you, but really it's not. Sometimes we're being protected from something that we can't really see. It's like I used the instance earlier, I believe it was the Taurus reading. You know, say you walk out the door at 8 a.m. to go to work, and this one particular day, you happen to not have your keys in your pocket or in your purse. And so then you have to go back into your home and you have to look for those keys. 10 minutes later, you find your keys. So you feel like, okay, I'm already late to work. Then you hit a traffic jam. Then you realize, okay, if I'd have been here 10 minutes earlier, I'd have been involved in this wreck. So that's kind of morbid, but hey, it's proving my point that sometimes we can't always see it. It's not always so obvious like the example I just used, but we are always being protected when we experience these delays. Whether we know it or not, the universe is protecting us from something that is actually far worse. But don't let yourself lose hope. And like I said, you got to have unshakable faith. Because this is a test of your faith. How bad do you want this? How bad do you want this wish? How bad do you want it? If you really, really want this, then don't lose faith. Show the universe, you're not going to break my faith. And you'll get it. You'll get what you want. These are the times when we have got to be very, very strong. Because these negative energies are trying to come for us, but you just can't let it. You can't let it get to you. Plus all these retrogrades got a lot of us feeling pretty out of sorts, you know, so. And again, you know, that's all of us, you know. Now there are some people that are not affected, and that's because they have a lot of retrogrades in their natal chart. But for the rest of us that don't have a bunch of retrogrades, we're feeling a bit off. Okay, so now this would be your attitude. So we have the Three of Coins in the reverse position. So some of you could definitely be experiencing some disagreements with people that you have to work with closely, or maybe just people that you have to deal with in general. Now, sometimes these can be misunderstandings. Sometimes it can just be, maybe you're just not seeing eye to eye, maybe we're not communicating with each other. Now, sometimes this can indicate that, there could be some sort of a like contractual type of disagreements. And, sometimes it can be an issue where we need to speak up, voice our issues with whomever these people might be, where the communication does not seem to be flowing properly. A lot of times, this tends to occur more, in relation to work. Sometimes we can see like union type of disagreements. It's like, you can take your concerns to a union and it's like they may hear you out, but the decision's probably not going to be what you would favor. So it's kind of the same thing, even within, personal relationships, our own personal situations. Maybe someone's not seeing your point of view. Maybe someone might hear you out, but then they may disagree with you, or, it can just cause problems. Sometimes it can indicate that there's some sort of unsafe work conditions. So for some of you, that's going to resonate. For others, it won't. Sometimes that can indicate, that maybe we're just sick and tired of feeling like we're unappreciated. Maybe some of you may feel like you literally end up having to do like 2 different people's jobs all at once, and it's like expected of you, which is wrong, but unfortunately sometimes we can find jobs that are like that, and they just expect too much out of one person. So some of you could be experiencing some issues with jobs, and you might be ready to just throw that job down. Kind of like those wands, like, you know what, I'm kind of tired of this. But it doesn't necessarily have to be a job for some of you. This could be someone that you work with, say on a project, a creative project. Maybe, you've got a creative project and maybe you guys are not seeing eye to eye. And so we're having problems having it come together. Because there's always more than just 2 people. It's like we have to work as a team together, but when it's in the reverse, something is blocking us from working together and seeing eye to eye. There's miscommunications, things of that nature. So, and a lot of times it tends to come up at work, but it can come up in creative projects. It can come up in, even a hobby, but it can also be speaking of personal relationships, friendships. So you'll know how it resonates for you in your situation. This is also about learning a new skill, and sometimes this can be where we may not have the proper tools or the proper software. It's like we don't have the proper equipment, the proper things for us to do the best job that we can. within our range of ability, you know. So, and that can be really, really frustrating in itself. So some of you could have started learning a new skill, or even collaborating with someone, and you know, maybe things are just not working out. Maybe it's not what you thought it would be initially. So there could be some, you know, difficulties, and it would definitely have something to do with, you know, finances for certain, and communications. Okay, so this is how other people would see you, and here we have the Six of Swords. So this is where we have gone through some sort of loss. You know, this could have been some sort of loss within the family. This could have been, you know, like a loss of a job. This could be many different things. But it's like there was a certain situation within the home life that wasn't helping. It's like we have to move away from these conditions, which, you know, are not exactly the most positive. It's like there's something going on that causes problems within the home life. And so it's like we need to move away from that situation. So we need to move forward. Rather than staying in the situation, we need to move forward. And, you know, this is also a card that, you know, this can be done more so in the mind. And for some of us, this is where it's going to be taking place at, is in the mind, you know. Sometimes we just need to move away from a loss that we went through. Because the more that we focus on something that we went through that didn't work out, that was lost, the more that we focus on it, the more that we can end up bringing more negative situations to us. So we don't want to focus on it. We need to make peace with it within our mind. The sooner that you can make peace with it and move forward, the better off you will be. For some of you, this could actually indicate moving, like physically moving, you know, to a different home. That's always a possibility. Sometimes it can be long distance, you know, so it's not like you're just moving 10 minutes away. So that'll resonate with a few of you. So this would be the position of hopes or fears. Sometimes this can tell us what's, you know, in the subconscious mind, what we may be worried about. Some of us may be consciously aware of it. Some of us may not be. Sometimes this can be a hope or a fear. Anyhow, we have the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. So it's like maybe some of you feel like you're just down on your luck. Maybe you feel like you're having to work really, really, really hard to make things happen for you. Maybe some of you fear that, you know, things won't turn out the way that you want them to. But it's a wheel, people, so you got to remember that even when we have moments when we go down in life, it's a wheel. It's going to turn. We're going to move back up, inevitably. So even if you are having one of those moments where you feel like you're down on your luck, you feel like you're having to work, you know, 10 times harder than everybody else to make something happen, just know that the Wheel of Fortune will turn in your favor. Sometimes we just have to put, you know, some hard work and some action behind it. And then boom, we can bring that Wheel of Fortune upright, and then things will just start coming together for us a whole lot easier. Okay, so this would be the final outcome. So we have the Page of Swords in reverse. So for some of you guys, I mean, this this can definitely indicate that there could be some very sudden events that could occur very out of the blue. Sometimes these things that happen can be odd. Sometimes there can be a bit of a strange twist. But most of the time these events are unexpected. They literally come out of nowhere. But no matter what these events are that happen, you'll definitely have to be prepared to make decisions quickly. But just know that these events that are coming up for you guys very soon, they are leading to a positive result, a positive outcome, okay? So, while they may be difficult at first, ultimately it will be good. It's leading us to something much better. Now, this card also has an element to it where, you know, when it's in the upright position, it can definitely indicate that there's been some sort of deception going on. With it in the reverse position like this, this is definitely a good indicator that anybody who may be withholding any type of information from you will end up coming out with the truth. Sometimes we can see apologies come up with this card when it's in the reverse position. Someone might come to you and say, hey, you know, I did this, you know, or I said this, and look, I'm really sorry. You know, I didn't mean to do it. I didn't mean to hurt you, you know, whatever it may be. So sometimes this can definitely indicate, you know, a deception that gets revealed, and then there could be a potential apology. For some, they may not apologize. For others, they will. But either way, if there's been any sort of deception, it will be exposed. So you will be able to see things clearly. And no matter what these events are that come in, whatever this news is, these events, these changes, yeah, they may have a bit of a strange twist, and you may have to make decisions quickly, but they will turn out for the best. Okay, so I ended up getting 3 cards that fell out, and normally I wouldn't take that, but I can't ignore spirit when I hear take it. So I took them. Alright, so the first one is the Page of Cups in reverse. So for some of you, this could be about, you know, things could just literally be at a standstill. Maybe you've been trying to get into a relationship. Maybe you've been trying to do a creative project of some sort. Maybe some of you have a child you've been worried about. Maybe they're not talking. Maybe they're not, maybe you know they're going through something, but they're not talking about it, so that could be pretty difficult. But under this type of energy, the Page of Swords, you know, the desire to communicate is so strong that, you know, if you have been concerned about a child, they're going to come forward. They will talk. You know, just be ready, willing, and open to hear them out. You know, try to reserve judgment. You know, hear them out. Now, this could also be some delays in regards to, like, creative type of work. And for some, you know, this could be like, maybe you feel like you're blocked. Maybe you have really great intuition, and maybe you feel like here lately you've just been blocked. Yep, this could be popping up for that very reason. But most of all, this is about, you know, we need to get things going, and it's like things are just at a standstill. And that's not what we want. We want things to be moving forward, but it appears that things are at a standstill. And this is definitely one of those cards where we need to talk about it. But I'm not worried because we have the Page of Swords, so I know that you guys will definitely talk about it. Or if this is about a child, you'll be able to get them to talk about it. So then the next card is the Lover's card. So yes, 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 I can already hear some of you laughing like, I am not interested in that. So, I got plenty of Geminis that do care about this, and then I have plenty of Geminis that don't care. So, just bear with me. The Lover's card does not always have to be about, a romantic relationship. It could be about us, meeting a new person, and they could end up being a very good friend that we have a strong bond with. For some of you, this could be someone coming closer that you might be interested in having a relationship with. For some of you, this could actually be pointing towards you need to integrate your twin counterpart, so to speak. And when I say twin, I don't mean your twin flame, okay? I mean your twin, Gemini. So you need to, potentially integrate both sides, together. Now, there's also the element of choices, decisions. And when I see the Lover's card, this is always a reminder that, even if this has nothing to do with relationships, which for some of you, this information could have something to do with relationships. Or maybe it could lead you to a relationship later on. If that's what you want, if that's your thing, okay? But no matter what, this is about choices and decisions. It's about let's make the right choices for where we are right now. So let's make responsible decisions. And then the final clarification card is the Justice card, which again is another card that's saying, hey, you need to make the right decisions. You need to make the right choices. So just like Justice holding these scales, you need to weigh your pros and cons between your choices. You need to take your time. Do not make that decision on impulse, Gemini. Think about it, please. Think about the decision. Weigh the pros and cons. Use your logic. Reason. Okay? Take your time. Come to a studied conclusion rather than a hasty one. And make sure that you're making the right choices for where you are and for your particular situation. And, if there happens to be something that you need to take accountability for, I recommend you do that. Nothing wrong with owning something that you may have done or said. That's actually something very, very responsible. But most of all, it's about keeping things honest, keeping things fair, keeping things balanced, making the right choices. So this is the bottom of the deck. We have the Ten of Swords. So it definitely looks like there's some sort of karmic ending. For some of you, this can happen in so many different ways for all of us. But, this could be a divorce. This could be the end of a job. So this would definitely be an ending. And it can be a painful ending. It really can be. But it's a karmic ending. So with it, it brings a karmic cleanse. Let's look at the card here. It's pretty graphic. But do you see all of those swords in his back? Well, that can be pretty straightforward. For some of you, maybe you feel like someone stabbed you in the back. Maybe you have a friendship that comes to an end. Maybe there's a business partnership that comes to an end. Maybe there's a romantic relationship or even a marriage that might come to an end. But there's like a feeling of like you've been stabbed in the back. So it is a painful ending, but Remember, it is like a karmic cleanse. It's a karmic release. And we get that clean slate so that we get to start over without all this karma. It's been dealt with. It's, wash it away. So for some of you, this ending could have already happened, or it could be currently happening. Okay, so it's clarified by the Two of Coins. So the Two of Coins is when we're juggling. Sometimes this can be like we're juggling our work, our job life, and then we're having to juggle our home life. Maybe there's some problems within the home. Maybe we're having to try to find our balance between all these different things that we have to be responsible for and things that we have to deal with. And sometimes we can hear some disappointing news, but we have to remain balanced. Because when you're juggling, balance is very, very important. And we could also, instead of saying juggling, this is multitasking, which Gemini, y'all know how to do this. But you don't want to lose your balance when you do it. You want to stay in balance. So you don't want to go too far left or too far right, if you catch my drift, okay? Now this is a card that has, financial meanings. Typically this is us juggling resources. Maybe some of us could be trying to pay many different bills. Maybe some of you have multiple jobs. Maybe some of you are experiencing financial difficulties, so we may be trying to rob Peter to pay Paul temporarily, until we can get our money better. But no matter what, juggle, multitask, but keep that balance. And for some of you, maybe this loss could be about, finances. Maybe it could have been from multitasking. Maybe someone thought that you were just not around enough, or that you weren't putting enough effort into the situation, or whatever it may be. So you could be on the receiving end or the giving end of this energy. No matter what, just know that sometimes certain people need to be removed out of our life, no matter how it happens, because some people are just plain toxic and they need to go. So just look at it as you're getting your new beginning. The karmic crap has been cleansed. You have that clean slate. You get to start over. But I want you guys to maintain that faith. Believe in yourself. I believe in you. Now I want you to believe in yourself. Don't lose that hope. Don't get down on yourself. If you feel fear creeping into your mind, you gotta tell it to get out. Just yell stop if you have to. You can, scream stop silently in your head. Just don't feed into that fear. Don't feed it. If you're going to feed that fear anything, you feed it faith. Make it run. Alright, I love you guys. Keep your head up. You're going to make it through this. And trust me, you're going to come out much better on the other side. I love you guys, and I'm sending you blessings of healing, prosperity, and love.